Okay, today is Tuesday, October 29th, and today I learned about balancing out your day and what to do when you are trying to focus within that balanced time. Basically, what I learned today is that sometimes you need to not be so go, go, go. Fast. And this is kind of like contradicting what I was talking about in yesterday's video. But I don't know, recently I've just tried to been as productive as possible and tried to always be doing something productive and just fill up my calendar with like stuff. And yes, sometimes I will have breaks in between that time, but ultimately it's not sustainable, right? I knew that already, but it's not sustainable to just have time to have every minute of your day blocked out. It's honestly just not sustainable because it doesn't give you enough time to reset, and you don't use the break time wisely, and you're just kind of not utilizing it effectively. So honestly, sometimes it's better to not have a schedule. And some days when I am feeling too structured and too productive, feeling too much like I'm trying to be too productive, sometimes I just don't use a schedule. I don't time block, and I kind of just let the day go out and just get the things that I need to get done. Today I just learned that I was getting first of all, I procrastinated a lot in the morning because I was thinking too much about being productive and not enough about the purpose of everything and why I'm doing everything. And I kind of it stressed me out. So then I started procrastinating and I started scrolling, doing all that stuff. But then I realized, once I did get to doing my work, I realized, this is just like any other day. I'm not an unproductive person. Yes, I do waste time, but it's just like any other day. So just get what you need to get done, and move on. You don't need to be so strict about your productiveness, because for some reason, when I'm thinking too much about how productive I am less productive. But when I'm kind of just going with the flow of the day and just letting myself be productive without worrying about it, then I am more productive. So if you're kind of like me, where you feel like you should be productive every minute of your day, it's okay. Just go with the flow of the day, because yes, this 24 hours is all that we have in front of us. So obviously you want to make the most of it, but sometimes making the most of your day requires breaks and requires you just taking it slow. So this world is very fast, and the way the world is progressing is very fast. And at times we have to keep up with it, but sometimes in order to keep up with it and in order to perform at our best, we need to slow down and just go with how your day goes. Because for most of us, every day is very similar. Every day is the same. Maybe not exactly the same, but we have similar routines, similar tasks. And you've done it before, you can do it again. It's just like any other day. So just take it slow, take it how you need to, figure out your necessities, and just get what you need to get done finished. And I realized that this is just like any other day. It kind of allowed myself to relax a lot more, and I've been productive ever since I realized that. Ever since I realized this is just like any other day and I don't need to stress about being super productive. I was more productive after that. One thing I realized is that in these days, I would consider most of this day to be a bad day. I did not have a good mindset. I was not getting stuff done. I was just I wasn't doing anything right. And I realized that those are the moments when we need to call out to God, basically, and to pray and ask for his help, and to trust him and not rely on ourselves, because that's what I did. I was stressed, I didn't have a good mindset, wasn't getting anything done, and I was relying on myself. I was relying on, I need to get on my schedule. I need to get the things that I want to get done. I need to do it according to my systems. I was thinking all about myself and trusting myself and relying on myself, instead of relying on what God has planned for today. He planned for all that to happen. And he has his own schedule for your day and for your week and for your plans. So you need to work by that schedule rather than our schedule. Now, obviously, we don't know what that looks like, but when we realize, like, oh, this is not what he wants for me, then we need to accept that. So when I did that, I guess I kind of did it subconsciously. When I realized, like, I'm not focusing on my schedule, I'm focusing on his schedule. When I realized that this was just like any other day and I was able to relax and just do my thing, that was giving, subconsciously, that was giving my day to him, kind of. That was letting the schedule figure out itself and trusting that his schedule was better than mine, and his schedule, like I should have relied on his schedule rather than my schedule. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, that kind of just relieved me and let me live the rest of my day out. And now I'm like really productive. Like usually I film these videos around like 7, but right now it's 6. Like I'm an hour early with the things that I need to get done. And it just shows that sometimes you need to let go of the reins and let God take the reins. Actually, you need to do that all the time. But we don't realize that we're holding the reins. So realize that you're holding the reins and let God take care of it. And just sit on the back of the horse and let him take you where you need to go. Connected to this, when you, like, once I did realize that, and once I was, like, getting a lot more productive during the day, there were a couple things I realized or learned. There's a couple things that I learned about in those productive moments. Once you have released yourself, once you have let go of what you want and focus more on what God wants and kind of just letting the day figure itself out, once you've done that, now it's time to be productive, right? So how can we go about that? I was watching a video. Basically what he said was that, I've talked about this before, right? Control what you can control. But then he said, all we can control is our attitude and our effort. Those were the 2 things he mentioned. And that was really helpful for me because, like, those are the 2 things we can control in a group environment, in a team environment, or maybe even just in, like, an unproductive day environment. The 2 things you can control are your attitude and your effort. And if you have one of them knocked down, if you only have one, then you can't really do what you need to do. So today, my attitude and my effort were both knocked down. We're both bad. My attitude was bad because my mentality was bad, and I was feeling too, like, worked up about, like, oh, I need to be really productive. And I was getting down and getting mad at myself for not being productive. And then my effort was not there because I was just scrolling, and I wasn't putting in any effort, not trying to focus at all on the things that I needed to focus on. So focus on the 2 things that you can change and that you can control, which are your attitude and your effort. Don't focus on the external, focus on the internal things that you can control, which are your attitude and your effort. How can we apply this? How can we apply this just generally? How can we apply this to our Christianity life? And how can we apply this to what I talked about in yesterday's video? If you have not watched yesterday's video, then I'll have it linked in the description and also at the end of this one. Let's go through these 3 actionable points. The first one, how can we take action on this generally? When you're having a bad day and when you are feeling overwhelmed and you are just not, like, your day is not going well, you're feeling like you have too much to do, you're feeling like you have to be so productive, but then you end up not actually being productive. When that happens, let go of your day. Let go of all these things you're thinking about and all these goals that you need to achieve and all this stuff. Just let go and let God. Honestly, I know that is a phrase that is kind of thrown around, and there is some truth to it, but I also believe that it can be misleading. But in this context, in this situation, you have to let go and let God. Let go of the reins and let God take them and let him guide you through your day, because that's what I did. I mean, kind of subconsciously. I wasn't thinking, like, God, take this, but I was just thinking, like, I need to let go of my day and I need to chill out and just let my day go. So just let your day go through. Let it go through the flow. You've done this a million times before, right? You've lived out so many other days, so you can make it through. Just kind of, like, don't be so stressed. Just chill out a little bit. When you're feeling like you need to be super productive and super, like, oh, I need to get things done, just chill out a little bit and take it one thing at a time. And when you are like taking it one thing at a time, within those things that you're doing, control what you can control. Control your attitude and control your effort. Make sure you have a good attitude within this and you're not complaining the entire time. Like, yes, maybe you will be focusing, maybe you'll be being productive on the outward, but on the inward, if you have a bad attitude about it, then like that kind of ruins the whole point, right? So you have to chill out and take it one thing at a time. When you're doing those things, make sure you have a good attitude, a good mindset, right? Make sure you're not complaining. Make sure that you are focused and put in the effort. Don't just, like, obviously it's better to show up than to just not do it at all, but put in the effort. You don't have to put in 100%, but at least put in some effort, right? So that's how you apply that generally to just make your days more productive. How can we apply this to a Christian life, I guess? I don't know. I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. Sometimes we need to realize that we are holding the reins of our life. Sometimes we need to realize that we are controlling too much and trying to control too much about our life. And ultimately, we are not in control. Like, ultimately, God is in control. So you need to let go of that and just trust that His plan is better than your plan. And you may schedule out every minute of your life. You may schedule out every week of your life. You may schedule out every year of your life, every season of your life. But that is going to be different than what He has planned out for you. And He has a certain plan and schedule for you. And you need to realize that those are not equal, those two schedules. And if you want to follow Him and if you want to trust Him, then you need to trust that schedule instead of your schedule. And like I said, we don't know what that schedule looks like, but we can realize that we are taking too much control, and then we need to let go of that and just trust in His plan. And then within that, when we are doing that, we need to have a good attitude and a good effort. Make sure you're not complaining. Make sure you're not sinning. Make sure you're not complaining like, oh, why is this happening? Like, why is He making me do this? Like, no, because His plan is perfect, and you know that it's ultimately going to be good for you. And then lastly, how can we apply this to what I talked about in yesterday's video? Yesterday, I talked about finding what that person looks like for you. Finding what that person looks like for you. So when you think like, I want to be that person, what does that look like for you? So when you're trying to be that person, right? You've defined, or at least you have an idea of what that person looks like. And when you're trying to be like them, that person, like, these are just characteristics of that person. These are ways that that person deals with these kinds of things. And they have a good attitude, they have a good effort, and this is how you can ultimately do what you want to do. When you be that person that you want to be, who gets the things that you say you're going to get done and does the things that you want to do and has their day all balanced out and has a good attitude and a good effort, like, that is kind of the goal. So that is what I learned today. Yeah, if you like this video, then definitely hit the like button. And if you want to see more, then definitely subscribe, because I am posting every single day daily insights talking about what I learned that day and how I'm trying to implement it into my life and how you guys can implement it into yours. So if you want to see that kind of thing, then definitely subscribe. Thank you for watching. If you want to see yesterday's video where I talked about I kind of just boiled self-improvement all down into this one concept of being that person, then that's going to be in this corner. If you want to watch season 1 of What I Learned Today videos, that's going to be in this corner. Subscribe so that you can see tomorrow's video. And if you subscribe, then I will see you tomorrow. Bye.